Welcome to the marketing team of Green Hospitality. Before you begin your internship here, I would like to introduce you to our brand messaging, social media usage guidelines, and suggested marketing strategies. You may skip to the timestamps shown to fast forward to each of the topics. Green Hospitality is a collaborative platform that enables and supports sustainability across the hospitality supply chain. We bring together businesses across the hospitality supply chain to find innovative and practical sustainability solutions and be a catalyst for change. We provide our members and partners with the knowledge, networks, and shared resources they need in order to address sustainability issues within their organizations. We have 3 brand pillars: knowledge, connections, solutions. We must always stick to our brand image and pillars when we communicate with external bodies as Green Hospitality. You may pause the video to read the table. There are 3 social media platforms currently in use: Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They have different positionings and features which we should adapt to. We have the highest post frequency on Instagram, with 3 to 4 posts a week due to its algorithm. You will have to decide what content goes to which social media and how many posts it is split into. For example, the single-use plastic ban campaign is split into 6 posts on Instagram and into 2 posts on Facebook. Community management is very important. We should actively engage with our audience by replying to messages and comments, resharing tagged stories, and liking relevant posts. You are recommended to switch on notifications of our social media pages and frequently check for message requests or new reactions. We should also follow accounts and hashtags relevant to our industry, for instance, hotels, suppliers, other sustainability organizations, and NGOs. Google Drive is used to store content like caption documents, whereas Canva is for image creation. Files should have correct naming and filing so that there is a consistent filing system with documents all in one place and the team can easily find and edit your work. Consistent use of software across the organization is also important for efficiency and to ensure smooth and continuous access for future editing of the team. If there are better software alternatives, we may recommend them with comparisons of cost and functionality of existing software. There are 2 main sources of social media content you should generate, the first one being special dates. We should observe dates relevant to sustainability in Hong Kong and create posts accordingly. It is very important to remember that although there is a post frequency goal to achieve, content should be meaningful and concrete. Do not post for the sake of posting, as irrelevant festivals and unhelpful content are not appreciated. For instance, water conservation policies of hotels are illustrated in the World Water Day post to encourage the industry to save water. We should also avoid putting too much focus on self-promotion or only mentioning 1 or 2 companies. Some of these events have their own theme of the year. We should align with the theme in our social media posts. Resources could also be available from official bodies of the dates, and we should use relevant resources such that there is a unified voice for it. For example, we echoed the theme of Planet versus Plastics in our Earth Day post and used images from the official website. The second source of content is news and updates related to sustainability and the hospitality industry. Keep track of the latest industry policies via subscribing to relevant newsletters, using Google Alerts, and checking the news regularly. It is essential to complete the whole creation and reviewing process within a short time, as it would be less meaningful to post about outdated news. Our podcast, Green Pursuits, and our newsletter, Green Horizons, are promoted on social media regularly. For Instagram posts promoting podcasts, we have 3 slides, whereas posts on other platforms only have the first slide. We also have Reels published on Instagram and Facebook. It is important to have content published on the correct platforms and to use our existing template for brand consistency. For Green Horizons, we have a general newsletter and an industry newsletter which will be updated in the Google Drive. We would check for the newsletter in the Drive every month and communicate with the newsletter intern to see which stories are the most important. The most important stories should be featured in the post. The existing templates should be used for the creation of newsletter posts. There is a template for general newsletter and a template for industry newsletter, both in the newsletter Canva file. We have two templates because the call to action of each type of newsletter is different. We ask our audience to subscribe to our general newsletter via our link in bio, whereas we lead our audience to our LinkedIn in industry newsletter posts. This should also be reflected in the caption. Before we decide to post something, we should check if it would look good in our social media feed. One way to do this is to create a table with 3 columns in a Google Doc and add cover photos of each post into the table. For campaigns, we would want the number of posts to be a multiple of 3 such that it becomes a neat, eye-catching banner on our Instagram feed. There are several scheduling tools available including Hootsuite, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Meta. It is recommended to have all social media content scheduled on one platform, which is Hootsuite, but we must be aware that Hootsuite has its issues, including disconnection. When this issue occurs, we will need to reconnect the Facebook page using the same Facebook profile that was used to add the page to Hootsuite for the first time. The same goes with LinkedIn. It will not allow us to use any other profile, even if it has admin access. While the problem is being solved, we will need to make do with other scheduling platforms. We must ensure our tone of voice aligns with our branding when we speak on behalf of Green Hospitality. Not only should we be engaging and professional, we should also take into account the social media platform we are speaking on. To draft an engaging caption, we should have a clear call to action. Rhetorical questions and statistics can also help pique our audience's interest in our posts. Since links in Instagram captions cannot be clicked, we will lead our audience to our link in bio. On the other hand, Facebook and LinkedIn caption links can be clicked, so we will include links in our caption and ask them to click the link. A common mistake of new interns is sounding too fluffy when the post is supposed to be professional. Compared to other platforms, LinkedIn should have a more serious tone, hence we should limit the use of emojis and flowery language on LinkedIn. This is due to the difference in audience of these platforms. We speak to professionals and the industry on LinkedIn, and we face the general public on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtags are very important for gaining traction on social media. To maximize our exposure on social media, we should use hashtags with a suitable number of posts and avoid hashtags that are too generic or niche. Finding hashtags with posts in the hundreds would be the best. When facing a hashtag with too many posts, we can add Hong Kong or HK after it so it becomes more specific. There are a few points to take note of when using hashtags. The Green Hospitality hashtags always comes before other hashtags. The first character of each word is capitalized, and hashtags used by our partners or relevant parties should also be included. The performance of hashtags is reflected in post insights, and we can decide whether to continue using them based on this. Upon choosing hashtags, a hashtag library should be created so we can easily find hashtags we have used and reuse them on similar occasions. You may build on our existing hashtag library. Accounts involved should be tagged. Instagram directly tags the username, but Facebook and LinkedIn do not, so we would have to manually click on the profile when creating the post. Be aware that usernames of partners could be different across social media platforms and separate scheduling might be required. Simple sans serif fonts should be used to match our branding. Montserrat Bold is used for anything capitalized and Open Sans is used in standard text. We may bold titles and keywords to emphasize them when necessary. Color blocks and highlights could be used to group text and contrast text against a messy background. We should stick to theme colors when creating highlights and color boxes for consistency. We should also ensure there is sufficient contrast between text and background image for clarity of information. In general, we could use different font when it is a separate campaign, for example, the Food Waste to Good Taste campaign. However, this does not apply to all campaigns. For example, Green Horizons, having its own name, logo, theme colors, and topic, does not have a font. You should consult your supervisor before choosing a new font, since there are no rules set in stone as to whether a new font could be chosen. Having too many fonts in one place makes the picture look messy and does not match our branding. The white logo on the left is used against a dark background, and the colored logo on the right is used against a light background, such that there is adequate contrast for the logo to be clearly seen. The whole logo does not have to present in each of the images. Sometimes just the ripples without the text is enough, and sometimes an logo is not required at all. These are our brand colors. They should be used as theme colors for posts that do not belong to a particular campaign. Note that colors must be accurate down to the exact color code, which means that gradients are not accepted, and even Chinese New Year has to use blue. Other colors are used for campaigns to set them apart from general posts. All posts of that campaign must use the color for consistency. We should make sure the selected color is not too similar to our brand colors so it can be distinguished from our other posts. Colors that do not fit our brand image should also be avoided, for example, bright pink. Our newsletter and our podcast also have their own logos and theme colors. You may find all the logos in the onboarding materials Canva file. When searching for images, we should be aware of copyright. We should always use royalty-free images to avoid copyright issues. There are many free resources for us to explore, and websites for free photos, videos, graphics, icons, and illustrations have been added to the onboarding materials file. If there are external bodies involved in the post, we should request for and use their brand images for accurate representation. We should also give them credit and make sure they approve the content featuring them. Moving on to the use of imagery, we should strike a balance between photographs and graphics. We want to use graphics that match our brand colors, but we do not want graphics all over the place to the point our social media feed looks cartoonish. The use of photographs is not limited to when there are tangible objects explicitly mentioned. For example, an image of Hong Kong is shown in the post introducing green hospitality. When selecting which photographs to use, keep in mind that we promote sustainability instead of hotel services. Some images, especially those from partners, might stress too much on the experience they provide. We should be careful not to shift our focus to promoting other businesses. Dimensions of preview images are also very important. The holding image of Reels in the post layout is square but 16:9 in the Reel section. When creating these holding images, we will need all important information in the middle so it will not be cropped away in the square layout. We should also avoid having our logo or faces of featured people cut in the middle. We should also be careful not to place text where it will be covered by our username and a caption. A test run on an account without followers can avoid this problem. There are several ways of promoting our posts. First, we should promote our posts in stories with an appropriate call to action. Links are automatically tracked by Instagram, and we can check the number of clicks. When links are not tracked automatically, we should create tracking links on Bitly so we will know the performance of links. QR codes could be generated with Bitly as well. We could also explore paid promotions when our content needs a boost. Using our own accounts, we should follow social pages of Green Hospitality and like the posts. On top of these methods, we should also share the newest content in the intern group chat so that everyone in the company is aware of the post. Social media provides us with a range of ways to check our engagement. Instagram, Facebook, Meta, Hootsuite, Bitly, they all have analytics functions. Our job is to retrieve and organize these data in the spreadsheet, then analyze their trends and give suggestions accordingly. These statistics also reflect how well we are attracting followers and engaging with them. One problem that we face is lack of social media activity in between internship semesters. This greatly impacts our social media engagement as the algorithm favors accounts with frequent activity. Hence, filler campaigns are needed for the period in between internship semesters since we want to be on the good side of the algorithm and we do not want a hiatus. Unlike posts about news or an event at a particular date, they will not be outdated and have no time constraint. Examples are sustainable stays and sustainable dining, which highlight sustainability measures of hotels and restaurants. We are recommended to brainstorm for more filler campaign ideas. Another idea is to interview the sustainability person of hotels and restaurants to showcase what can be done to run a business sustainably. There is an existing list of social media platforms of hotels and restaurants, which we can refer to when looking for someone to interview. We could also initiate collaborations with influencers or KOLs on social media. We could gain more exposure and engagement from their large follower base. Before reaching out to them, we should ensure they align with our branding. For example, we should avoid influencers that are greenwashing. This concludes the onboarding video. I hope you have a fruitful and delightful internship.